Hello and welcome to this vlog. I'm going to produce a series of these vlogs and about various different subjects, and they're going to be pretty much free form. I'm not following a script. They're just thoughts that I have and things that I would like to share with others. Okay, so they're going to be predominantly, psychology, psychotherapy based, but also about just understanding how our brain works sometimes, and recognizing that there's actually sometimes nothing wrong with us. It's just the way that we work. It's the way that we're wired. So I'm going to give an example, because I try to do as much fitness as I possibly can. I have got kind of a routine of going out and doing some walks and hikes, and I try to mix that with things that I enjoy doing so that it doesn't become laborious and boring and non-motivating for me to do. Okay, I'm getting older. It's difficult to get rid of excess weight nowadays as you get older, so I know that I need to exercise regularly, in order to keep that weight down. I need to look after my health, and that's a different thing, diet and all that kind of thing. But I want to focus on what happens to me about regular fitness. Okay, so once a week I meet up with Ben of Project Active. Okay, local. I've known Ben now for many years, and I've worked with Ben on various different projects, and he's worked with me on things, and we basically help each other. So every week I have a session with Ben. We don't always meet it. We're fairly flexible on things like that. So again, try not to make things like fitness laborious, because you may find that you have a similarity with me, in as much as I will try to not make excuses. That sounds, I'm trying to think of another word, but try to sort of find motivation to committing to doing something. So what tends to happen, and I'll give a recent example, the day before, or the night before my next fitness appointment with Ben, I'm raring to go, and yes, I'm going to do some really good strength fitness and regime and all the rest of it. I go to sleep, I wake up in the morning, okay, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, you know what, I don't think I will do the whole fitness thing, because Ben is also very flexible to, obviously any health issues that are going on, any injuries that I've had, and he's obviously very flexible about working that day's fitness appointment, around you as a person. You don't have to go and meet all these necessary goals. But I wake up in the morning and then I start thinking, you know what, I might just do a hike. I might just say to Ben, I'll go out and I'll do a hike. Because, doing physical fitness, and we're talking really quite physical fitness, not using equipment or anything, it's just using your own physical body. And it can be very tiring, and it can be, there's a lot of strength involved, upper body, legs, squats, press ups, pull ups, there's all sorts of stuff. So I've kind of, by the morning, convinced myself that actually I might just say to Ben, I'd much rather do a hike, which tends to be about 3 miles or so, within sort of 50 minutes to an hour, of the session. And, and that's fine. That's good. But I've already talked myself out of it. Okay. I've already talked myself out of doing the fitness bit, which is the bit that I know that I need to do. I want to do it, but I've convinced myself not to do it. Is that a lack of motivation? I think it is. I think it is a lack of motivation. The key thing, what I'm trying to say here, is that it's good to recognize that that's what's actually happening. Because when I reflect on it, I think, well, and I have done this before. I have gone to a session and then kind of chickened out of doing it because I'm thinking this is going to be too much hard work. I'm going to feel exhausted, blah, blah, blah. I might have something to do that particular day and I just feel, becoming exhausted doing fitness in the morning. These are all the things, the messages that are going on in your head. And then thinking, I'll just let's just do a hike. All very good, but it's not the same as doing, what I'm calling proper exercise or physical exercise, which is the bit that I need to do more because during other days I'm doing the hikes. So, what am I hearing, seeing and feeling when that happens? I feel guilt. I feel like I'm letting myself down. I'm listening to the voices that are going on in my head, trying to convince me, oh, I'm going to feel exhausted. I'm really not up to this today. I just feel like doing a hike, blah, 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 blah. And then I go through a series of checks. Like I then start questioning because this is obviously happening. I mean, this is not just something that's happened recently. I mean, this has happened all of my life in various other areas, but I'm just focusing on the fitness side. So then I start to think, why am I thinking like this? What is it? Is there a real reason? Unless I'm physically injured, there isn't really a real reason for me not to do fitness. Unless I've missed sleep patterns or something for the last week. Again, there's no real reason. And so I kind of have this ongoing battle in my head. My thought processes are, on the one hand, there's part of me trying to convince me to only just have a hike and not do any physical exercise, strength exercise. And then on the other hand, I'm feeling guilty, and there's this whole guilt trip thing going on that is saying, well, there's no real reason for this. You're just making excuses again for yourself. You're trying to get out of it. I feel like I'm letting myself down. I feel like I'm letting Ben down. They're the feelings that are going on and the thought processes inside me. So what I've learned to do in order to get around this is to really kind of take myself aside and say, like, what is there a real reason not to do the physical fitness? And that's what I've learned is, what is it that's telling me not to do it? Like, recognize what is it that's telling you not to do it? Is it just a lack of motivation? Is it, it's kind in a way, it's a little bit, everyone is different. Okay, there isn't one answer for all. You have to just listen to what's going on. Observe the thought processes that are going through your mind about, the reasons not to do something. And it applies, as I say, to everything, not just fitness. One of the key things that I will say is that having a commitment with a physical trainer to do something is motivation enough a lot of the time for me to turn that around, to turn those negativities into a positive. So almost on my journey over, I'm kind of almost debating, do I do a hike? Do I do physical fitness? Do I do a hike? Do I do physical fitness? And then I've learned to convince myself then by the time I get out of the car and it's time to start the session, I just push through. I force myself, unless there is a physical reason not to do something, I now push through that barrier of that kind of lack of commitment, those doubts, those questions, the convincing voice that's telling you not to do something for whatever reason. You've got to just push through it and just say, right, no, I'm committed to this. Let's do the physical exercise. And that is what helps me. I hope it inspires other people to do much the same thing. But I think the key thing to take away from this short video is kind of just noticing what is going on with you when that kind of internal dialogue is happening, when that internal, pulling from one side to the other is going on, and you feel like you need to either give up on something, or, oh, that's okay, I'll do that tomorrow, oh, I'll do it next week, it then becomes more of a habit. And that's the bad thing, is allowing a kind of a lack of motivation, and breaking through that kind of negativity wall is then turning it into a habit, which I believe is what tends to happen when people start off the beginning of the year with all the good intentions of burning off, tens of thousands of calories of eating, and drinking that they've done over the Christmas period, for instance, and then they go to a gym. If they haven't really listened to why they give up after a certain period of time, then it then turns into a habit. It's like, oh, I've missed it last week, I'll miss it this week, I've got this and this and this to do, and again, they just become excuses not to do something. So it's quite key. I find it quite key. There are real reasons why you can't do something. There are real reasons, like doing fitness and such like, because of a physical injury or an illness, or getting over something, or something pops up on that particular day at that particular time and your schedule is just gone to pieces, for instance. There are real reasons, and then there are not so real reasons, and the not so real reasons very often come from up here. And if we allow them to become real reasons in our brain, then we end up with that lack of motivation to do something about it, and we keep putting up walls and excuses and such like, the reasons why not to do something more than the reasons for doing something. Again, I think the motivation to doing something is obviously keeping healthy, and keeping that in mind as well. Carry those thoughts with you when you break down that wall of negativity, in order to motivate you to do something. It's also key to, achieving what it is you want to achieve. Anyway, I'll be good to round this up. Hopefully that somebody will find this useful, somebody will find it informative. And as always, anybody has any questions about anything, then do contact us via our website or on our Facebook page. All right, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you again in the next video.